name is Dolly Noniasele from Pro Arts Gallery, and I'm here with sculptor Robbie Abrams. Robbie, hi.
Hi.
Introduce yourself, your practice and your work.
My practice and my work. Let's see, briefly, I am a sculptor. I work mostly with clay, and we're in a clay studio at the moment, but I also work in steel. I make steel sculptures as well. And I've been working, as a sculptor in the Bay Area actually for the last 16 years. My first formal art classes didn't even happen until I was 29 years old. I was working in business and I started taking pottery, and like most people who start taking pottery, you think you're a great artist because you can make a bowl. And so I really enjoyed making the functional and working, just having that creative outlet, and I quit my job to become a professional potter. But I realized that I don't have the temperament to make the same thing over and over again. Also, I realized that my work was really leading more towards sculptural and more towards representational. And so as I was selling or giving away my pottery, I noticed that because it was more in the art pottery sort of realm, people weren't actually using my work to serve on or to put flowers in or whatever. So I started to play with that response. If they're not going to use the bowl that I sold them and they're just going to display it as a beautiful thing, then why make it functional at all? So I started messing around with different surfaces and different shapes so that it wouldn't be functional. And especially with the bottle form and the vase form, I actually sealed off the top. And that really made potters angry because there was no place to put the flowers. And I enjoyed that, so I kept on going with that, throwing bottles with faux corks so that it looked like you could take the cork off or the lid off, and you couldn't. And so they became still lives, but in 3D. When I work in series, so I experiment with a form until I'm done, until it's exhausted and it's out of my brain. And with the vase form, I've translated it from clay, a real literal translation of a vase, to something that's more abstract, and then into 6-foot, 14-foot tall steel structures that are still the vase form, and then go back to clay and retranslate it back to see how sort of the serial progression alters the forms. And then I've chosen, although I don't think I have it online on the online gallery, I work in, I choose a topic and then I just say, okay, and let's experiment with proportion and fire, for clay, different firing temperatures and different surfaces, and with metal, just different surfaces, smooth, rough, and then the proportions, height and width. And I develop my work that way. The artists that I admire most are the ones who think and have serious statements to make about society or politics or very important personal items, but my work has nothing to do with that. I don't think that way, but I wish I could work that way.
Tell me, why Pro Arts Open Studios this year?
Good question. I like doing open studios. I enjoy meeting the people who like the art, and I know it's a good interaction. It helps me develop my work by talking to people and see how they respond to my work. Mm-hmm. This is a new space for me. Okay. It's another good reason. We have 6 artists in this space, and I thought it'd be a good way for all of us to have a deadline to make work and get used to working together. I need motivation. I need a deadline. When I don't have a deadline, I tend to let things sit. So this way, now I have, a month, 2 months to get ready.
How long have you been in this space? You mentioned it was new.
I've been in this space for a year.
Okay.
I took over the gallery up front January of 2015.
Okay.
And it came with this studio in the back, and so...
Perfect. So Robbie, tell me, what, in your opinion, makes art in the Bay Area so special?
I think, it's different, say, than New York, maybe LA, in that we have a really large concentration of art schools here. So we have a large concentration of students, and also people who are halfway between professional and amateur, mm-hmm. who enjoy showing their work. And I don't recall that in other cities that I've been in, like New York or LA. I think there's more people here excited about art, and more people who do art as their second job, or it's their first job, but they have to have a second job to support it.
Have you been doing open studios for a while, or have you returned?
I did open studios for about 5 or 6 years in a row, starting in around 2005. And I stopped because for a while it felt like doing open studios wasn't helping at all, and it really didn't work with what I was trying to accomplish. But now there seems to be a change in how open studios is organized, and who's participating in Open Art Studios, and I felt that it was worth it to try it again because I really like the Pro Arts organization and what it does for local artists, and so I'm really happy to be participating again.